There's a book called An Unexciting Life, and it is about monastic life. In a way that does describe what the monastic life is about. It's not a terribly exciting life, but that isn't our purpose. Our purpose is to put in place the values that we hold that, as I said earlier, often get experienced as a balanced, slow-paced approach to life. That's the effect of how we live our life day to day and day after day as well.
The interesting thing is that my mother was just here this past week visiting with a group of people from my home parish in Ohio, and so they were just enthralled once they were in church and heard Vespers being sung by the monks, and if you've ever heard that, it's a very measured way of approaching prayer, and they were just enthralled and just fell in love with this place. And so my mother was listening to this, and I was listening to them, and my mother said, yes, no one's in a hurry around here. Everything is at a snail's pace. It's just simply a mindful living in the presence of God, who's present to us at all times.
Benedictines throughout the history of the order have had a concern for the environment. Saint Benedict in his rule refers to taking care of the properties, treating property as vessels of the altar. So there's always been a natural concern from Benedictines for the environment. And here at St. Minor, that's taken many faces. We put that into trees. We've planted several thousand trees, which is sort of a nice tie-in to Snail's Pace being a paper-based product. We're slowly replacing our fleet of vehicles, our trucks on campus here, to small little mini trucks and minivans. We're heating some of our buildings with waste fuel oil. We've had a huge recycling program here for over 2 decades now. One of the things that I particularly like about Snail's Pace and the product, the Forest Stewardship Council product paper that we will be using, is not only do the principles of the FSC speak to concern for the environment, but also social concern.
One of the vows that we take as Benedictines is a vow of stability. Of course, that gets symbolized very concretely in the monastery itself and the enclosure of the monastery. But there are concentric circles of meaning to stability. One of them would include a commitment to the place, that is, the locale in which the monastery has been founded and continues to thrive. So in that sense, we are really committed to the people of the area as well as to the resources of the area. Someone once said that it's very expensive to live in the past, and although St. Benedict's rule was written in the 6th century, we are not 6th century men. We are 21st century men. And so we have to live in the times in which we live. That gives us an opportunity, I think, to partake of a lot of the technological advances that help further the work that we are engaged in. So it's not that we would shun things that would seem to be modern because they're modern. We try and apply the values, the core values of our monastic life to whatever kinds of media that we would encounter that would help us further the work and the values of St. Minor.
You hear constantly in conversations of people talking about the stress of life, even teenagers now talking about, I'm so stressed out. The fast-paced, hectic life, we need balance. And I think Snail's Pace, by celebrating the beauty of creation, slowing down to put pen to paper, affords people the opportunity to slow down and bring some balance that they're looking for to their lives. I think another thing that would hopefully make Snail's Pace unique would be the setting, this being a work of the monastery. not only do we, Snail Space, do we want to sell these beautiful products to people, but we want to be the locus for a conversation. We want to invite them to St. Mildred, whether it be physically or electronically, to participate in this virtually participate in this conversation of the meaning of life, slowing down, finding balance, all the wisdom that is contained in the rule of St. Benedict and in the history of the monastic community.